Well, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and once again, welcome back to the day one of MEWA India 2025. As promised, it's time for us to now begin with our next conversation, increasing women's participation to accelerate India's growth. Can we get the background music stopped, please? Thank you. I think a good cup of caffeine is needed for all of them to function. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, on that note, it's indeed endearing to see when a women leader is here with us. All the women leaders in the room, firstly, all of us, can we give them a big, big round of applause before we begin with this fantastic event? So first up, for the moderator, it's indeed my honor to call upon the Director of Bolas Agro Private Limited, Mr. Bola Rahul Kamath. Let's give him a warm round of applause. He's the Vice President of the Nuts and Dry Fruits Council of India and the President of All India Cashew Association. Somebody who's been instrumental in shaping Bolas Agro Private Limited into one of India's largest cashew processors and exporters. Somebody who brings decades of expertise in commodity trading, agro-processing, and global trade. Under his leadership, Bolas Agro has expanded to over 70 retail outlets in Karnataka and exports to more than 20 countries. Let's give our moderator a warmer round of applause as we welcome him on the stage. It's indeed my honor now to call upon our next eminent panelist. She's an actor, producer, and an entrepreneur. From Hindi and Marathi to Tamil, Telugu, and more, she has proven her mettle as a true blue pan-India star. She's not just a name synonymous with Bollywood and Marathi cinema talent, but she's also a beacon of entrepreneurial prowess. She has seamlessly transitioned to the world of business, leaving an indelible mark with her ventures like Mumbai Film Company and Imagine. Her entrepreneurial journey is characterized by her commitment to authenticity and her ability to identify opportunities where others see challenges. Whether it's in the realm of fashion, wellness, or technology, she has demonstrated a knack for understanding market needs and delivering solutions that resonate with consumers. She remains an inspiration to many, proving that with passion and perseverance, anything is possible. Let's give a big round of applause to none other than Ms. Janelia Deshmukh. Thank you so much, Janelia Deshmukh. We wish we could have given you a more grand welcome, but allow us an opportunity to thank you with a bigger round of applause. Well, truly, one bite at a time, Imagine, one of our key brands. Thank you so much, Janelia, for joining us. We look forward to your interaction as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, it's indeed my honor to now call upon our next eminent women panelists. She's the partner and director of sales of the Crane of California Group, one of California's largest growers and processors of English walnuts. As a third-generation leader in the Crane family, she plays a pivotal role in driving the company's growth, innovation, and global presence. Working alongside her brothers and cousins, she continues the family legacy that began in 1962. Georgia has been instrumental in modernizing Crane's operation. Let's give it a warm round of applause as we welcome none other than Georgia Crane. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, much more energy in the room. Let's give an iconic round of applause to none other than Georgia Crane. We're also elated that we have with us our next eminent panelist. She's a marketing professional with over 2 decades of experience in promoting high-value imported food products across India and the world. As a founder of Ampro Marketing, a specialized food marketing consultancy, she has been instrumental in shaping market strategies for international fresh and dried fruit boards. Her company represents prestigious global organizations, including the World Macadamia Organization, Turkish Hazelnuts, Turkish Dried Fruits and Pistachios, and Avocados Australia, with a strong focus on market development, consumer awareness, and increasing category demand in India. Let's give it up for none other than Ms. Mansi Ahuja. Well, Mansi truly rocking that red. Thank you so much, Ms. Ahuja, for joining us. Well, with that, it's indeed my honor to call upon our final panelist who's going to be joining us. She's somebody who spearheads an important segment in BKC, India's leading importers of the nuts and dried fruits. She took charge of the department 20 years ago when BKC's presence and operations both were at a modest scale. Ever since her joining, she's been a part of the core management team, which has worked passionately and tirelessly to bring VKC at the forefront of India's nuts and dry fruits taste and emerged as the largest integrated company in this segment. Starting single-handedly, she built the entire team of her department, mentoring and nurturing fresh talent in the organization and honing their skills to meet the challenges of a growing community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome none other than Ms. Vishakha Kumaria Jain, Vice President of Exports and Imports International Relations, VKC Nuts. A bigger round of applause for our lady leadership. So with that, over to you, Mr. Kamath, to take it forward.
Thank you so much. We all Indians share one common dream with our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji. The dream is to see India as a developed nation by 2047 when India turns 100. We call it Vikasit Bharat. Now, this dream is unachievable if we underutilize our resources. And we know we are grossly underutilizing our human resources when it comes to women in the industry. Now, if you see all through the educations, the girls outperform boys by far. But when it comes to the corporate boardrooms, unfortunately, the ratio of women in the industry is less than 10. And that's true even in the parliament or any other decision-making bodies. So this is something which we cannot afford. We do not have the luxury to underutilize the resources like this if we have to achieve our dream. So NDFCI is committed to ensure that we create a better and inclusive work environment to increase women's participation in our industry. Especially when we are in the industry like food, who knows better than women what to eat, what not to eat, what to give their children. So, women will be a much better manager, much better marketer for foods than men for sure. So with this situation, we are having a very eminent panel here, a very mixed and balanced. We start from Vishakha Jain, who is from the industry ki bahu, and we have Georgia Crane, industry ki beti, the daughter of the industry. So, because somebody who has been married to a nut industrialist and somebody who is a daughter of a nut industrialist. So, we also have a perception what is happening in India and how these things are taken care in a developed country like United States. Then we have Mansi, who is a consultant to the industry, not from a industry background, but working a lot for industry. And of course, we have Janilia Deshmukh, who is a totally outsider, but she has worn many hats. She has been a model, she has been an actress, she has been an entrepreneur now, and she is a mother. So she has a lot of hats, so we will have her perspective from many angles. So thank you so much. So let's start with Vishaka Jain. So I want to know from you, what is the present status of women in the industry? And what is it which is stopping women from coming up the ladder all the way to the boardroom? So what has been your experience in this?
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, it's an honor for me to share stage with an eminent personality like Janelia ma'am. Thank you, NDFC, for giving me this opportunity. So now coming back to your question, Rahulji, so we all know in our production units at our sites, 70% of our labor is women. So it's the women working in the factories. But as we go up the ladder, go up the hierarchy, there are very less women at the managerial level. If you see the statistics, worldwide, 47% of the women are working. But in India, in other industries, 20% of the women are working. But it's very disheartening to say that in our industry, in dry fruit industry, only 1% of the women are at managerial level. So the figures are very low as compared to other industries.
Now I want to know from you, what are the challenges? So you came to the industry. Now what are the challenges you faced to come into the industry as a woman?
Okay. So I joined the industry 20 years. Hello, can you hear me? So when I joined the industry 20 years back, just to give an idea about our nature of business, so all dry fruit industries are basically traditional business houses who have further graduated into graduating professionally and becoming a companies. So I was lucky enough to get support from our family, but it has always been a male-dominated industry. So when the office, it was like my husband was there, my brother-in-law was there, my husband's uncle was there. So among all the males, I was the only female there. So it was a challenge. It was always a thing to prove myself so that I don't go wrong anywhere. So it was but luckily, thankfully, I really got a good support from them all. So yes, that's it.
I want to ask Mansi, now, as a consultant who started working for the industry,
yes.
now, what are the challenges you faced, specifically being a woman,
Yes.
when you are working for this industry?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon, Janelia. So nice to be here with you and represent the women in the industry. So I joined the industry 20 years back. And to be honest, when I started working, there were no women. The nuts and dry fruit industry was very, very male-dominated. And even when I was like, if you belong to a business family, the families really want you to join the family business. I was very lucky to have that support from my parents, my in-laws, the education that they gave me, and even my in-laws and my husband who gave me the opportunity, and I defied all that and I did not join the family business because I had my own dreams. I wanted to pursue my passion and follow and just do what I wanted to really do. So the challenges that I really faced was, yes, the gender bias. I think what is really important is we need to be given opportunities and don't give us like don't stereotype us that men can do this and only women can do that. So, obviously when you're making marketing strategies, it's very important for you to see the ground reality also. And they were like, women cannot go to the wholesale market. And it was, they would protect me, not send me to the wholesale market. They're right in their own way. But till I don't go see the wholesale market, how will I be able to really devise a marketing strategy? So, of course, it was quite a struggle for me. But I never gave up. And all thanks to NDFC and their support. When I formed my company, of course, I was working earlier. When I formed my company, and just to give an example, I have a 40 foreign visitor delegation that I took to the wholesale market. So this is where my journey has been in this last 20 years. I have defied that gender, and that's what I would like to give that message across.
Fantastic, thank you. Now, I want to ask Georgia, now, is the challenges same when you are in US or the challenges are different? And how do you see the situation of women in the boardroom in the United States?
Thank you, everybody. It's a little bit different in the US. Women are encouraged, once they finish high school, to be a little bit more independent, enter the workforce or go to college before they get married. And it's becoming less and less common for women to only be staying at home. So there's a lot more women in the workforce in general. In our company, we have about 47% women employment in our packaging and processing entity. In our farming, it's lower, it's about 27%. Primarily, the roles that women play in the processing entity are a little bit higher up than in the farming one. Our marketing team, our customer service team, logistics, accounting, finance, human resources are maybe 90% women. Many of them started off in the company at a lot lower level where we trained them up and they learned every segment of the business. So I think that's probably a critical key for that. Whether they come in with a lower education or a higher education, in our industry, everything is very specialized. So training them every step of the way helps to get to the top.
Thank you so much. Now, I want to ask Genelia. Now, if you see outside the nut industry, like other industry that you have been working, so what is the situation of women? Do you face challenges just being a woman in the industry, like the entertainment, the show, and the modeling, and all these things? Or it's because of the type of industry that is, it's natural that there are more women participation?
So thank you very much for having me, and I'm very happy to be part of a panel that I honestly don't even belong to, but I'm very intrigued about and curious about, and I'm very happy to be here amongst everyone. To answer your question, when I started acting, it was a bad word. The industry was a bad word. It was, you don't send your daughters there. You know, very typical mindset of, this is not where you send your daughters. So when I was on set, it used to just be the female actor on set, and everyone else on that set would just be men. 20 years down the line today, we have women holding extremely an important place on our set, on our film unit. And whether it's direction, whether it's assistant directors, whether it's producers, whether it's the stylist, whether it's the makeup team, everything has changed, and there is a need for a woman in every department today. And I've seen it when there was no one, to seeing it when it's still not, 80-20, or it's still not 50-50, but at least it is 60-40. And that kind of growth only makes you feel better. Today, as a woman producer, I can stand and have a point of view. Earlier, you couldn't. You weren't taken seriously. You'd probably be mocked. You'd probably be like, oh, you're part of a family, and hence you own this position. But today, that isn't the case. I, for one, think that it is the men in my family who encouraged me to stand up and be the woman that I can be. I honestly feel if it wasn't for Ritesh, I wouldn't have been heading Mumbai Film Company. I wouldn't have been heading Imagine at all. It is his belief, it is his drive that makes you feel that you're capable of much more than what you yourself thought you were. And I think that, in a way, is mentoring. I think that is a way, whether it's a man or whether it's a woman, I think gender biasness needs to be removed, and people need to be appreciated for what they bring to the table, for what they bring to the job, and where they take it ahead. So that's my viewpoint on entrepreneurship and on any job or any industry that you're part of.
Thank you. No, they say behind every successful man there is a woman.
Yes.
So I want to know whether vice versa is true. So,
Absolutely.
So I want to know from you, as you were just talking about, how important is that support from your husband or father? And what is your message to the people in the crowd that how they should support their daughters or wives in doing what they are best?
See, I feel support would mean no restrictions. We come from a country in India, and every day those restrictions are being broken down, and you see very capable women, and it is a very socio-cultural movement that goes around in India, and hence women have always taken, the back step, because it's always been their responsibility to look after the house. But I don't, if you ask me, I don't see myself as just an entrepreneur or just a founder. What I see myself is as a woman, as a mother, as a homemaker, as someone who can fix anything that goes wrong in the house, as someone who takes a way forward, as someone who has the ability to see probably what your children don't see. And I think those aspects are eventually what I use in my entrepreneurship journey. And it is only because it's backed by a family that is open about it. My mother-in-law today is almost 70, and she is a very, very proud farmer. She's an entrepreneur. She is in Latur. She handles so much of work. And I look at her and I'm amazed that age is no bar as well, right? So I definitely think family support goes a long way. I definitely feel bringing up your girl child to believe that she's no less, that she is, she's as powerful, she's out there, she's someone who makes a difference to the world. She's someone who can make a difference with her vision. And in a large way, bringing up your boy child to respect that as well. We keep talking about, okay, make a girl feel special, but don't make your boys feel extra special as well, Make them feel what they're worth. And I think that's where you have a whole culture of people who are good at their job that will come out.
Thank you. My question to Georgia. Now, in India, most of the restrictions that the parents put is on account of the love for them and to ensure that their safety. That's why it's more often they say for 2 women, like Mansi was telling, don't go there, don't be in the... So how do you see it in US? Are you, in your childhood, how supportive were your parents when you want to do something new? Whether they were very open to you or they were more restrictive?
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
My family was very supportive. They trained me basically in everything from the ground up in the business from, since I was basically a child almost. My whole family works together in the business, so it's very integrated. I'm the oldest of my generation, and the rest of my generation is all male. So we were all treated the same as far as learning the business and how it operates. We weren't forced to join it, which I think was also important because you don't love something that you're forced to do. But we were brought up to all work together equally, regardless of who was male and who was female.
So I want your feedback on that. Like, how important is the support from your man or your father on what you do? And is it very important that their support is, or how important is their support for what you have achieved?
So when I was growing up, we were actually two sisters. So I was the son, both me and my sister, we were the son of my parents as well. So there was, he always brought out, there was no disparity. and we were given the best of the education. And my dad, I think, has been the mentor, and I really look up to him because I am what the values that he has given me and where I am today is all because of him. If he wouldn't have educated me, if I was not given the kind of, he let me go travel the world, I could work late hours, and there was no disparity in that. So I just feel that if you have that family support, and not everybody gets that support. In my peer group, when I would sit on the table with my friends, and when they came from those same background as I came from, they were only forced either to just sit at home or join the family business. And what if it's just not their interest to join the family business? So I was always looked upon as like, she's doing something different. I don't think so that's the right thing. But of course, I always kept my dreams and what I believed in, my determination, my knowledge, my education, and what my dad has taught me. I kept it alive and kept following that.
Thank you. Vishaka, how easy or difficult for you to be taken seriously when you join the business? Because you are a woman who has just joined the boardroom, but people will think, what she can do.
Yes,
so,
I get that every time because my husband is, is the president of NDFC. Yes, it happens. Yeah.
So what was your challenge in getting acceptable in the boardroom?
See, I've been very lucky. I have been, I grew up in a very modern, educated family. I was given the best of education. So, and as far as my in-laws are considered, they were very lucky. I was very lucky. So I was very lucky. Coming back to what you said, that behind every successful man, there's a woman. So it's the same, it's vice versa. Behind every successful woman, there's a man. It can be her father-in-law, father, husband, brother, anyone. But there is a man, there should be a man to support her, to guide her. So, I cannot forget, 20 years back, when I got the first order, so my father-in-law, he actually, threw a party. The party was more expensive than the order I got, but he was so happy that I started working. So that was the support I got from my father-in-law. My husband, who has always guided me, who's always supported me and forced me and motivated me to come forward, talk, speak, do mistakes. Even if I do mistakes, go ahead, do it. It's part of the business. So I have been very lucky with that kind of support.
Thank you. Now, my next question to Janelia. Women often prioritize multiple responsibilities, sometimes at the cost of their own health. Now, how a nutrition like rich food like nuts and dry fruits are part of your diet? And as a mother, how do you see nuts and dry fruits as part of the food that you want to give to your children?
So I was non-vegetarian a few years ago, and I turned plant-based. And when I turned plant-based, I realized the importance of nuts and dried fruits and your protein intake and, various things. So today, nuts and dry fruits are very much, and seeds, are very much part of my diet. In fact, I honestly feel it's great for gut health. It's great for anti-aging, which all women love, and I'm sure all men too. It has good fat, so obviously it has great vitamin E, which eventually helps you look your best. And I'm a believer of more of what you put into your system rather than put on your face. So I would, honestly, really put that out there. In fact, I was just talking to a couple of our colleagues here, and I was telling them that because my kids are also plant-based and they have never had milk really. I mean, they've had milk, hidden or whatever, but they primarily don't have a glass of milk. So every morning, I make a combination of, chia seeds, hemp seeds, cashew nuts, almonds, almond milk, and I make this and I count a proportion of 25 grams of protein before they go there. So while we've had a whole lot of supplements, it has only been around tickling a child's palate and not really about making it a nutritious blend in the morning. And I think if you just do that much, you are setting up your child to thinking in a way that's just right. So today, if I ask them what you'll have for breakfast, and because it's easy and convenient and, it goes into your system and you're alerted and ready to go, they will also always choose it. If I ask them, Rian, Rael, what will you have for breakfast? Instead of struggling and, every mom goes through this whole journey in the morning of shoving down stuff, and getting them ready. If you just make your meal appropriate, nutrient dense, and something that's easy. I mean, you gotta give it to them at 6:30 in the morning. They're also a bit tired to, gulp down a whole lot of food. So if you're giving them the right benefits, the right, the right product, and something that's helping them eventually, it's something that they are going to definitely stomach. So I'm a big believer in nuts and dry fruits, especially since my diet has changed, but I also highly recommend it because I think it's not just one aspect that gets covered. It's a good fat, it's good in protein, it has its calcium in place, it's also a great carbohydrate. It's not one that's just adding layers, it's one that's helping you grow. In fact, I'd imagine we are discovering a whole variety of nut butters, my new product will be a pulao that is dense in all of this. So it's definitely something at a company level I'm looking at. We're experimenting every day in the office. We're trying to get out something that's delicious, and nuts taste amazing. I mean, we all love nuts at whatever level we are at. So it is something that ticks all the boxes, something that I incorporate in my life, in my diet. In fact, sometimes your day gets so long, especially, and I'm sure all of us here in this room realize, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or whether you're working in a company, you realize that sometimes your day gets so long and food is the least of priorities in that day, But and I'm not talking about just women, I'm talking about men as well. If you just have your handful of nuts, that's the right combination of, a little bit of cranberries, a little bit of chia seed, a little bit of all the aspects that you need. It's good to go. It takes you through another 2 hours. So I think having these little pouches and having it in the right way, I'm not saying just have almonds or just have pistas or just have a little bit of everything. So you're getting a good combination of what you deserve in the day. Like when I first turned plant-based, everyone's like, where's your omega coming from? I'm like, chia seeds, can we talk on? So I think it's very important to be aware of the benefits of it. It's very important to not overdo anything like you wouldn't overdo in any food, but it's very important to take what will help you grow. And I think I'm so glad you guys are doing this. I mean, like you said, I'm an outsider, but I'm very interested and intrigued in the whole process because Imagine is primarily a plant-based, protein-high plant-based company, and I need nuts for my protein constantly. So I'm constantly looking at how to get a better nut blend. In fact, we at Imagine are trying to develop a paneer that we've tried and which we've made it totally dairy-free using, almonds and cashews and seeds and various aspects. And we hope we someday crack that because then you're saving the environment, you're having a dairy-free product and a nutrient-dense product sooner or later. So yeah, that's my viewpoint.
We know you wear many hats, but now we have got a nutritionist, a brand ambassador for the nuts and dry fruits industry. Yeah, I think you put it better than any nutritionist in the country. So you are such a, no, it's such a nice thing to hear good thing about nuts from you. Thank you so much. Now, I want to ask Georgia, no, as a kid, when somebody goes to school, in India we have a elaborate breakfast, but in US, people used to like, we are in a hurry and they take a nut bar or something. So what is the culture there? So are the kids are taking nut-based diets when they go to the college or school?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of people wake up in the morning and go immediately to work or school, so time is very important. Nut bars are becoming very popular. Mixed nuts that are already, like we've talked about earlier, already mixed to the right proportions for nutrition are very popular. And then anything that you can grab on the go is on the rise right now.
Thank you. Now, my next question to Mansi. So, if you want to change something in the industry, one thing that you want industry to change as far as participation of women in the industry, so what would be that one thing? Yeah, I think it's good. Not good?
Hello? Yeah. I think what I would like to say here is don't judge women by their gender. Give them equal opportunities. And we don't want any privileges, but we want equal opportunities what men are given. We are already very empowered. We multitask, we can do everything what a man can do. So judge us by our capabilities.
Yeah, please.
Can I add to this, please?
Yeah, same question.
Yeah, the one change I would like in the industry is more recognition for women. You know, we women have been all brains with no face. There are so many women who've been working in the industry for so long, but they have never been able to come forward. Thank you to NDFC, thank you to MEWA. At least we have an opportunity to hear it. We are sitting here and talking about the women in the dry fruit industry. So which is very nice. So give us recognition. There are many women. If I talk about my family, our grandmother in 80s and 90s, she used to go to the production unit. She used to manage the whole processing. She used to manage the labor, logistics, and everything. She was actually she was working like a plant head, but she had no title. No one knows about it. So it's so important that the industry give us recognition to the women that they are working. And actually, as Mansi said, we do not want any privileges, but just recognize the fact that we are there. Thank you.
One thing I just want to add, the core NDFC team needs to have more women. We don't want a special women's core group. It should be a part of the core NDFC group. We women need to be a part of that.
Thank you. Georgia, so what is the one thing that you want to change in the industry to have more participation of women?
I think the NDFC definitely could help by incorporating more women into their board or their organization. And then it also kind of has to start with below that, where you go down to the businesses that are involved and them bringing women with them to these events and encouraging them to participate.
Thank you. My next question to Janelia. Do you think mentorship work? So, did you have any mentors when you entered the industry? Or were there any role model which you were following?
No, like I said, Ritesh really encouraged me.
But when you started your journey as a model and as a first acting?
So I come from a family that did none of this.
Yeah,
so
that's why
I was asked by someone else. So to put it into perspective, someone else saw that in me. You know, someone else had belief in me when I didn't even have it. And I think that's the most important part of mentorship. 3 points that I've always felt and I always feel if you're trying to make a difference to someone, change the mindset. So I'm someone who always thinks that instead of just going for perfection, go for progress. I think it's extremely important to progress, whether it's like, and I keep saying there's too much women bashing and male bashing. We're not taken for the capabilities that we are. So I honestly feel it should be progress over perfection. I honestly feel fear should take a step behind and curiosity should be encouraged and enhanced, because that's what's going to make you a better leader. And I also feel there's no requirement for just competition. It should be more collaboration. I think if you have these three fundamentals at your workplace, you're developing an environment of progress, and also you're developing an environment where it's okay to fail. Success is not always the first thing you get. It's okay to fail. It's okay to learn from that and grow ahead. Just keep your vision intact, and I think you'll reach somewhere.
Fantastic. But did you had any role model whose step you want to follow when you were young?
No, I really don't. I think the way I have been brought up, and I've been brought up very differently from an average girl. I mean, most of my friends weren't brought up like me. I wasn't told that pink is my favorite color, for starters. I played football when nobody did, So I think the role model in my life is the capability that I was made to realize for myself. And I think that's what everyone in this room and everyone who's stepping out to do something needs to realize, whether you're a woman or whether you're a man. If you believe you have something that's making a difference, you need to go out there and do it for yourself without just listening to people talk, because that's what they'll do. Go so far ahead that you can't hear them, is what I'd say.
Thank you. Georgia, any role models, any mentors at the early age?
Oh, yes. I would probably just say my family as a whole. Both the female side and the male side helped me get to where I am today. And they were all very supportive and very hardworking people, and worked together regardless of who was who. So I think that was a good environment to grow up in.
Mansi?
Yes, I think I said that. It is my family. To begin with, my father, who gave me the education, and then the family that I got married to, my husband. Again, if he wouldn't have supported me, I would not be here, and of course, my in-laws. So yes, but you do get inspired by the women leaders, like Indira Gandhi, her determination. She is such a good leader with the leadership qualities. Where in the world did you have a woman prime minister? So, yeah.
So, Rahulji, I would like to say that, when a boy graduates, he is supposed to be the breadwinner of the family, and he's supposed to make a career. He's supposed to do well in his whatever profession he chooses. So his career graph goes straight diagonally upwards. But when a girl graduates, she's supposed to work. Then she is supposed to get married. She has to fulfill the responsibilities of a daughter-in-law, a wife. Then after a few years, she has to have children. Then she's a mom. So a lady is a mom, wife, mother-in-law, wife, mother, and daughter-in-law. So many responsibilities she's fulfilling. So to be successful, for a woman, it's 3 times more tougher than for what a man is, as per our social norms. So all the women who've been successful in their career, who have been able to break their boundaries, are a role model for me.
Thank you. Now, my next question to Janelia. Now, when it comes to work-life balance, because business is ruthless, you cannot take leave from business. And I think when you got married, you took a short break from your acting career. Yeah. So how do you balance your work life and personal life if you are in business?
So, A, for starters, I took the break because I wanted to take the break, not the other way around. Most people would think that I got married and, my husband asked me to, or, my in-laws asked me to. But I took the break because I was working from the age of 15. And when I got married, I thought these were the 10 years that I didn't want to do what I was doing. And I think in that process, I self-discovered that I could do so many other things versus just act. Yes, having a balance is important, and business is ruthless, but so is being a homemaker. It's ruthless. You don't get any credit for it. And in India, it's even more like it's made to be your duty. I feel going to office is easier than being at home 24/7. I honestly and completely feel that. I just feel that you need to do what you're doing with you need to be productive, whether you're working for 4 hours or whether you're working for 40 hours. It's the way everyone does it differently. Some people like to take n number of breaks. I don't. When I step into office, I eat my meal only by 3 o'clock in the afternoon because I utilize the 9 to 3 and then I need to head back home to see my kids. I join back into work after 7 once. My kids sleep at 7, which is the best thing I've ever done in my life, I think. So I get back to starting to whatever's left post 7. But everyone who works with me and everyone who works along with me knows that from 4 to 7 I'm not available because that's the time and that reminds me it's time to go. But no, that's how I work. And I'll wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm on sets at 5:30 in the morning because I want to be home when the kids come in. So you choose your ways of doing it. Some people prefer staying up late. It is what you make for yourself, and you will find a way. I don't think it's impossible. 10 years I didn't feel like working. Ritesh told me, what are you doing? You love acting. This is something that you're great at. Please go ahead and do it. And sometimes you need someone to make you understand that you're stuck in a place where there's no growth, even to a point of being a homemaker. Sometimes you're just stuck around that whole world and no one gives you wings to fly. I'm grateful that Ritesh sees me as an individual, not just a wife and not just a mother, but also as an individual, someone who has capabilities to take this ahead. I would have never seen myself as an entrepreneur, honestly, if it wasn't for him, So I think that's the ability that someone gives, and that is mentorship in a way. That is someone who gets the best out of you. But having said that, you have to find a work balance, and that's only what you can do for yourself. No one else can do that for you, If you feel that I give my best in 4 days of a week, do that. If you feel that I need all 7 days and I need to work at this level all 7 days, do that. If you feel that your work should start at 10 o'clock versus 9 o'clock in the morning, do that. Today we are in the day and age of startups, which is so encouraging for everyone here to build something that, which wasn't there probably 20 years ago. So I think we're in a very great age in life, be it men, be it women. You're here to develop something. We've all worked as part of big multinational companies. Many of the people who work in our organization have left something to build something that they want to be proud of, And I think that all comes from what is your belief. It starts and ends with that eventually.
Thank you. Guys, Smriti Irani ji on the way. I think she will reach in 3 to 4 minutes. Till that time, I am sure audience has a lot of questions to ask. So if any questions from audience, I can take 1 or 2. Do we have the mic? Anybody
Ladies
from
and
the
gentlemen, if you have any question, kindly raise your hand. We'll get the mic passed.
Please.
Could the team kindly assist? Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I was really looking forward to this panel, and I echo a lot of thoughts especially with the challenges, and I am really grateful to NDFC for at least bringing all the women together. And what I echo what Mansi ji also said, that we need to have more women on the panel. And while I understand that all the men got together and created NDFC, maybe let's use this opportunity to have more women. So it's not a question, but just a proposal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And anybody has a question? We take care. We take note. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Janelia. This question is to you. You got such a busy schedule. How do you get time to make those funny reels? I mean, such fond of them. I mean,
It's
we
about
just can't
balancing
miss
it out.
that.
Well, I think that's something that started during COVID, actually. Ritesh and me started doing Ritesh started doing these reels, and I would keep going after him and saying, how can you waste so much time, on this? And then he got me involved, and we started doing it together. But it was at a time when people were at their lowest. And when we started putting up these reels, they would message us back saying, thank you for making us smile today, or we had a tough day and, you brought out the best in us. And that encouraged us to do few more, because we said at least there was no entertainment, there was nothing going on at that point in time. And if there were a whole lot of people who just felt a sense of calm by seeing them, we felt it was almost our responsibility to do it again and again. So we did that very often. And then COVID ended, of course, and we still kept getting mails that, before I go to work, I want to see that one reel, before I do this, or after I've had a tough day, it just makes me smile. So we try, but it is tough now. It's not as easy as it was before. We do a little bit here and there, and it's kind of brought us an identity which we didn't know we had before. So I don't know how we have the time. I think we just are well balanced, so it happens somehow or the other.
They are wonderful. I think the whole audience should give them a big round of applause for them.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Hello, ma'am. I just want to know that how do you keep yourself very calm and cool at this level, because you are having a very lot of pressure of work and everything.
Yeah.
And at this stage.
Yeah,
So please.
no, I think there are times that I have a burst. There are times that I, lose it at times. And I feel that's okay. It's okay to vent out at times. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to, sometimes react, because it's only positive. It can't be every day, of course, because that is detrimental. But it's okay. And where calmness is concerned, I think I just sleep on time. I sleep well, and I think that's a luxury in today's world.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the...
Thank you. Guys, give a standing ovation to Smriti Irani ji.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed an honor to welcome Cabinet Minister, Government of India, Young Global Leader, World Economic Forum, none other than Srimati Smriti Irani amongst us. Let's give her a warm round of applause and a standing ovation as she joins us in MEWA India 2025.
Thank you. Any more audience questions? We can take quick one or two questions before we wind up the session.
So I want to congratulate NDFC on the initiative, first organizing the women's panel discussion. That itself indicates your willingness to promote. And being in the industry, I'm seeing a lot more women participation from the dry fruit industry. I see a lot more wives, daughters, sisters joining in the forefront. So my question is to all the ladies on board. I'm sure when you are driving a business, it gives a lot of confidence to the ladies, women working in the organization to be more confident, come up at the forefront. And I'm sure maybe you would like to share how you're creating opportunities to recruit more female staff in your workforce.
I think someone can take it. So the question is like, more women in the board, will it make the women at the lower end more comfortable to work?
Yeah. So, sir, when I joined my business, so in our office, there was not even a single woman. So now I can proudly say that at least 30% of the staff is women in office. So when they see me as sitting over there, they feel more comfortable, more secure, and with women, the feminine qualities come, which makes them more comfortable to work as ever in an environment like that, where women are more caring, more passionate. We can hear about their problems, they can discuss with the boss, the lady if she's their boss, so it makes them more comfortable. So yes, over past 20 years, the women in our offices has definitely increased.
So what I am trying to do in my company is I see women my age who have got over their responsibilities, their children are grown up and now they don't know what to do. So I'm giving them opportunity to come join me and give a helping hand and encourage them that it's okay, even if you didn't, there are still opportunities, and let them be there, out there, and give equal opportunities like men.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have to encourage your peers to step up to their highest potential and not be afraid to push past some of the boundaries that society puts on us.
Genelia, more women in the like a director's position, will it make your life more comfortable when you are acting?
Yeah, I just did a film, in fact, where it was a lady director. My last film was with a lady director. I have a production on board which has every department having, if not more than 50% or 40% at least, women in that department. So, but again, I'd like to emphasize that it's very important for someone to be good at their job as well. It's like if you are being given this position, whether you're male or whether you're female, A, don't wait for anyone's validation. Believe in yourself and go ahead. And B, do it to the best of your ability. Don't start bringing in, a lot of us women also, what we do is we start joining the job and then we expect a whole lot of, that you can't sit up late, you can't do this late, you can't do that. You gotta step up and take charge is what I feel.
Thank you. Any more audience questions? Okay, thank you. One last question, yeah, please.
So, Genelia, being the model and actor, since you are the public figure, you must have been to shows like fashion shows where you've been the showstopper. So, how it feels to be an action, seeker, the right word I can't say right now is...
I'm not a seeker. Clarify. No, it feels great to get adulation if that's what you're asking me. It's amazing to be a showstopper. It's amazing to be the lead actor in your film. It's amazing to be that. It's amazing to get a lot of love and appreciation from everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we are done. Yeah.
बस एक शेर कहना चाहूँगी, औरत हूँ मगर सूरत खोसार खड़ी हूँ, एक सच के तफज़्ज़ुल के लिए सबसे लड़ी हूँ. For my English speaking friends, I am a woman, but I stand firm like a mountain chain. I have fought with all for the sake of the truth. And the truth here I'm talking about is that we need to realize that there is nothing a woman cannot do. Have faith in us, believe in us, give us wings to fly, and we will soar high up in the sky.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We are coming to the end.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I think when you have such great women leaders on stage, along with, of course, Mr. Kamath, let's give them an iconic round of applause. What a well-rounded conversation. And with that, if we may request all of you to please step forward, allow us an opportunity to capture you all in one frame. I think this is one of the pivotal moments of MEWA India 2025. Once again, let's give them a bigger round of applause. And as we have Srimati Smriti Irani with us, ma'am, if we could request you a moment to please join them, because this is all about women leadership and she's one of the beacons of inspiration for us. Let's give her a warmer round of applause as we welcome her. Of course, we do not want to lose the opportunity of having all the women leaders join us on stage. Vijeta, if you'd like to join in as well, along with our women leaders, please, all of you, feel free to join us on stage. Wow, this is going to be like the entire forum joining. All right. It's very kind of all of you to join us. Looks like Smriti Irani, you've got the entire women of MEWA India 2025 on stage. All right, I think that nobody would want to lose this opportunity. All right, we're going to be stopping with all of you joining just one last bit. Let's respect that. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a big, big round of applause as we have the entire women leadership on stage. Of course, what a fantastic conversation. Rahul seems to be lost. Where is Rahul? Rahul, okay. Rahul, can you please be in the center? I think this is his famous moment from MEWA India 2025. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, an iconic round of applause. Make some noise. Increasing women's participation to accelerate India's growth, and I think MEWA India 2025 did that with such incredible leaders who've joined us. Of course, with that, may we request all the leaders to step down, but not the panelists, and of course not Srimati Smriti Irani. Ma'am, if we could just request you to please stay back, and all our panelists to please stay back. Allow us an opportunity to request Srimati Smriti Irani to be a part of all the memento giving as well. Ladies and gentlemen, can we do the photographs later? Can we please do the pleasantries later? Ladies, can we please do the pleasantry later? Thank you so much. She's going to be any which way conversing in the exhibit area. This is the resilience of women leadership, right? They want to capture the moment. All right. With that being said, let's quickly get the felicitation on. Srimati Smriti Irani, since you're amongst us, we're going to be requesting you, if you could further felicitate all. Of course, starting with Rahul Kamath. Can we bring in the mementos on stage? Please, let's bring in the memento. Srimati Smriti Irani, if you can please help us felicitate also our leaders from our previous session. First, we're starting with the man who's leading from the front, Rahul Kamath. And ma'am, if you can help us felicitate Janelia Deshmukh, Srimati Smriti Irani and Janelia Deshmukh in one frame. Let's give them both an iconic round of applause. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, a big, big round of applause. Increasing women's participation to accelerate India's growth. May we further request Georgia Crane to please step forward. Srimati Smriti Irani, if you can help us be in frame with Georgia Crane. A warmer round of applause. Mansi, if you could request your company now on stage along with Srimati Smriti Irani. Allow us an opportunity to capture both of you in one frame. A bigger round of applause for Mansi Ahuja. And of course, Vishakha Kumaria Jain, President of Exports and Imports, International Relations, VKC Nuts. Let's give it a warm round of applause in frame with our chief guest, Srimati Smriti Irani. So with that, a big thank you to all of you for joining us. May we request you all to kindly be seated, but before that, if you can allow us an opportunity for a group photograph. If you can have all of you only in one frame. Of course, this time we can have Mr. Kamath on the right, which is absolutely fine, and not in the center. All right, the comradeship is always encouraged, and this was all about increasing women's participation to accelerate India's growth. Here are your leaders who are leading it from the front. Once again, a big thank you on behalf of MEWA India 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, a warmer round of applause. What a fantastic discussion. Such an endearing chat that was, and thank you so much. Thank you once again. Thank you. And may I request Srimati Smriti Irani to please be seated on the stage, ma'am. We request your humble presence out here. So well, ladies and gentlemen, such a pivotal task ahead of us when we have the humble presence of Srimati Smriti Irani, a distinguished leader with over 25 years of experience in governance and policy making. She's held pivotal cabinet positions, leading transformative initiatives across the Ministry of Education, Textiles, Women and Child Development, as well as Minority Affairs. Her leadership is marked by innovative strategies, digital transformation, and a focus on gender equity and sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin the session, may we request all of you to kindly make way for Janelia to please exit, allow us an opportunity in a humble way to have a grand exit of Janelia. Thank you, Ms. Deshmukh, for joining us. And allow us an opportunity to further transition as we have our chief guest amongst us. With that, I'd now like for the welcome remarks, a lady who's been leading it from the front, bringing a decade of experience with a company where she's developed their offline retail model. She's somebody who has been always harping on one thing: women's involvement in the industry. So ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed an honor to now welcome Vijayata Gaudi on the stage, and of course, as she's present, the CEO of Handful of Health. Let's give him a warmer round of applause as she welcomes our chief guest.
Thank you, Bhavna. Honorable Smriti Irani ji, it is my privilege to welcome you to MEWA India 2025. India is shining on the global stage. And at NDFC, we are committed to building stronger business practices, fostering meaningful collaborations, and creating a robust ecosystem that empowers all stakeholders. Women have always been at the heart of every social and economic system. Across generations, they have been the architects of stability, growth, transformation. We call them by different names: Shakti, Saraswati, Annapurna, or Bhakti. Her role remains unwavering across cultures and faiths. She builds, she nurtures, and sustains. And it is this intrinsic strength that drives the womanhood forward. When we founded NDFC, we knew that empowering women had to be a core pillar of our mission. That's why we established the Women's Wing. The Women of MEWA, as we would like to call ourselves. Our vision was clear: to create a platform where women could lead, innovate, and drive change. As we look ahead to the coming year, our focus is on equipping the women of MEWA with the right tools, training, and resources they need to elevate their skills and carve a stronger position for themselves in the industry. We believe that empowerment is not just about inclusion. It is about providing the competitive edge that enables women to thrive. Ma'am, your presence here today reaffirms that we are on the right path. Your leadership and unwavering support for women's advancements inspire us, and we're truly honored to have you with us. We have all closely followed Davos, ma'am, and its discussions, and one key takeaway for all of us that resonates with the NDFC as well is, for any cause to succeed, there must be a strong business case behind it. And as you rightly said, money never runs out for money, right? So we are here, we are building that case, demonstrating that empowering women is not just a social imperative anymore, it is more an economic one. With that, now I have the great honor and probably the highlight of my career at this point of inviting Smriti Irani ji to come here and address all of us.
Namaskar, ladies and gentlemen. At the onset, let me give my gratitude to Vijayata, Vishakha, and the team at the council who had the grace and magnanimity to invite me for this very celebrated event in Mumbai. Ladies and gentlemen, I am normally known to be extremely sharp with my tongue and a bit blunt, too blunt many a times, to people's liking. And I believe that one of our greatest tragedies is that when we speak about women and women in business, most halls go empty. And those who do not find themselves in such hallowed company and august audience miss out the fact that when there is equity in companies, McKinsey says productivity goes up by 75%. So those who are not in the room today, I begin my address addressing them and their incapacity to know where money will come through and how it will come through equity and equality. For our guests who come from foreign lands, let me say that in India, the earliest evidence with regards to the industry that you are now a part of comes from the Indus Valley civilization. That means between 3300 BCE to around 1300 BCE. Almonds was first commonly known to be used during the Indus Valley civilization. And if you look at the spice route of India, evidence goes back to as much as the 10th millennium BCE, with Roman coins in terms of trade found in the state of Tamil Nadu. So the industry is not new to India. Indian industry may be new to the global diaspora in the trade. Today, when I've been invited by Vijeta and Vishakha and the council to speak on the issue of women, I took umbrage to the fact that the panel before me spoke about women's empowerment, which denotes that women are waiting to be rescued. They are waiting to be emancipated. The greatest tribute to the potential financially of women in our country would be to say, and as the Prime Minister rightly says, is how can we ensure that women lead, because in their leadership depends the development of India. And women-led development is a discourse that we as Indians gave to the world, especially under India's presidency of the G20, and finding a place for it in the Leaders' Declaration, which never happened in the history of G20 nations. And why did India do that? What is the India story? So I'm here today not only to give claim to the efforts by the council to ensure that more and more women become a part of the formal segment of the nut and dry fruit trade. And Janelia and I were just laughing about the fact that I said, well, it takes genuinely a woman to handle all the nuts in the world, so why not have them more and more formally ordained? But what is the India story? When we talk about the India story, many of us look at the exchange, look at the RBI, and possibly that's how we register our belief in our growth story. But what if we looked at numbers that were, let's say, propounded by Bloomberg? Now, according to Bloomberg, in the economic story of global growth, in the year 2023, China's contribution was around 31%. India's contribution was 17.5%. The contribution of the US economy was 12%. And the rest of the world's contribution to global economic growth was around 39%, which means we were still number 2 in 2023. If we grew at just 1% faster till the year 2028, how much of the global pie will see a contribution from India? And these numbers, ladies and gentlemen, are important for reflection, because that's one of the first things I did to Vijeta when I saw her. I said, give me the numbers of the industry. She was a bit flummoxed as to why am I asking for those numbers. I said, and I've had a very productive, albeit short, conversation with Mr. Jain, and I said, you are close to about $8 billion worth of revenue in a market where you've captured 20 to 25% of a formal market, of which 4% is e-commerce. Am I correct? Which means that you still have a segregated market space of around 75 to 80%, which nobody formally gets into a structured conversation. So if just 25% of your potential is $8 billion, imagine what the rest of the 75% is. Valued at. And these numbers matter, so if we grow at 1% more, what would we look like in the year, let's say, 2028? In the year 2028, if we grew at just 1% faster, China would be at 23%, we would be at 25%. The US would be at 7%, and the rest of the world would have the rest of the global economic pie. So why and how does the Indian trade figure in these numbers? Most of our foreign friends now speak about India's capacity to have GCCs. Everybody talks about the global capacity centers in India, where once upon a time we were the back office of major global companies. Today we have 1650 in fact GCCs in India, which employ around 1.6 million Indians. And if you just look at the numbers, Indians who sit in these GCC centers compute numbers and services for establishments like JP Morgan. We helped in India make JP Morgan Chase, and their declaration is around $2.3 billion worth of revenue, only in the year 23-24. The total amount of money these GCCs created in terms of global value was $26 billion. These are just 1,650 centers, and your council is 800 members. I'm just giving context. So with 75% of the market still not structured in a conversation, with $8 billion in hand, how much can the council grow? There are some who may understand or believe that I am supposed to speak about women, and why am I speaking about the whole corpus? And I'm speaking about the whole corpus because if wealth has to be accentuated, men and women have to be equal partners. As long as the men know to distribute wealth, share it equally with dignity, the job of women does not become a challenge. They are not reduced to mere labor. They go on the ladder of leadership. So my request to the council is this. If you are looking at 20 to 25% of your structured growth, could you please help compute how many of them are startups? Today in India, close to 1,17,000 startups exist that employ around 15 million people. But if you look at the potential of Indians, especially if you ask the youngsters in rural India, 9 out of 10 will tell you they want to be in business. So if 70 to 75% of your market is still in the kirana shops, in the mom and pop shops, how many of them have created a relationship with that 67 million youngsters in the country, in the rural ramparts who want to be entrepreneurial? And how many can be embedded then through the efforts of the council? Because I heard Vijayata and Vishakha talk about how do you bring about more and more leadership potential and ownership of businesses by women. But if you look at it from a larger perspective, how many of us can then help these youngsters or women turn their nut adventures into enterprise? So that is my one request of the council. If we can start computing these numbers, because the bank and investment companies, VCs, PEs will always respond to that definite number. My second request is this. Not many understand the true potential of small businesses in India. I'm extremely privileged that I am the strategic advisor to the Confederation of All India Small Traders. We are an amalgam of 48,000 trade unions in the country. We have 80 million members. So if you look at just small businesses in India, 90% of industrial units in India are small companies which employ 28 million Indians. And these small businesses are 45% of our export. So my next request to the council is this. Could you please see how many of your, not only 800 members, but in your segregated market, how many of them in an unstructured fashion are a part of the global supply chain, are a part of the export value chain, but are not a part of the council? Because if you just look at the potential of small businesses to generate value for our economy, today they are 7% of the GDP, that's their contribution. So can you go from $8 billion onwards to doubling or tripling your capacity in the next 3 years if you can just start computing the true numbers of your industry. I was telling Mr. Jain that, have you been recognized yet by DPIT? And that's the effort of the council. And I think these computations will help in that effort, because then you can surely show double your size in terms of your export or domestic potential, and possibly you will find that acceptance from the Commerce Ministry, and it is about time that you get it. Now, insofar as, and again I've digressed from just women to a larger part of the trade, and I'm doing so because one of the greatest, again, complications that women create is to use forums like this to only talk about empowerment of women. Talk hard numbers, talk business, and success will follow. So if we talk numbers, and again my focus is on the segregated trade, which is right now not computed by the council. It is projected by companies or thought leaders at the BCG that the Indian retail market will be worth $1 trillion in the year 2025. That's their projection. So if you look at consumer spending trends, what are those trends like? Mr. Jain told me that you have 4% of all those who are part of the council or a part of also the e-commerce universe of marketing. Today, 71% of online orders on e-commerce in India comes from rural India and small towns. How much of your advertising and brand positioning is for that market, for that segment of consumer? The second aspect which may bring value to this conversation is 60% of those on e-commerce side, they prefer homegrown brands, your brands. So how much of our effort has gone into ensuring that homegrown brands are advertised, especially to that segment, even if it's on e-commerce sites? And even if you're not available for transactions on e-commerce site, how much of digital media are you using to ensure that homegrown brands get that kind of an attraction or create that value in terms of communication with your citizens who want to support Indian businesses, locally grown businesses? One of the things that जब हम मेवा लेने जाते थे, and I told Vijayata, the weirdest person to visit Mewa would be Smriti Irani. And then I told her, I said, guess what? My husband is a cashew grower in Ratnagiri, Maharashtra. So it takes a nut to know a nut. And we are nuts about nuts. So if we just look at how does a consumer respond? And I'm again apologizing that these are the conversations women in the business need to have if you want them to be focused on leadership roles and business ownership. So how many of us have looked at the fact that what is that one attractive point for a consumer when it comes to our wares, our goods? You'll be shocked that 85% of the consumers, let's say digitally today, they have multiple data points that they check, not only price. One of the biggest misunderstanding is that मेवा price देख के लिया जाता है. They are also looking at other points which can help them make a better decision. And what is fascinating about India is 66% of those consumers are using smartphones in our countries as compared to 56% globally. So in terms of using digital devices to even understand markets or preferences as consumers, our citizens are more digitally adept as compared to a lot of global consumers. So my request is that as the council finds more and more opportunity for women in the business, how many of those women have been taught the digital power that can be unleashed for their businesses, through their businesses, so that the size of their company grows? The biggest challenge, and this is irrespective of gender, that somebody faces, especially with a small unit, is to understand the export market, emerging markets, certification, compliance. My request is to the Council that irrespective of whether it's women or youngsters from rural India who are trying to be a part of the global supply chain, how much of our effort can be put in to ensuring that more and more people understand FSSAI standards or global compliance and certification standards that they need to understand. And the one thing, I had the pleasure of coming from the airport with Vijeta, so we chatted up a lot. I think both the husbands here are very, very afraid that I might make their wives more rebellious. But how many of you in the room are possibly from a middle class background? If I can just have a show of hands. Okay, good. So anybody who's from middle class, lower middle class backgrounds, we know that the schooling that we got was to have a paycheck and then go onwards to a pension. Correct? Being rich was never taught. The rich were taught how to acquire more. The middle class kid was taught how to be satisfied. And we read Gita more than the rich kids. Karm kar, phal ki chinta mat kar. Correct? Yeah. So if we truly want, as Prime Minister Modi says, for us to become the third largest economy in the world, then we need to ensure that middle class entrepreneurs stop being afraid of being rich. Stop being afraid of being ambitious. Stop being afraid of pushing the envelope. So, what are those strategies that will change how you look at businesses? Those strategies become differentiated if you're a female from a middle class family. Because when you go into business, or when you climb the corporate ladder, or at least you try to, one of the biggest challenges women face is negotiating contracts. How to walk away, or how to bargain hard. So my request again to the Council is that irrespective of women, or for that matter, young entrepreneurs from rural India especially, can you teach them contract negotiation so that they are not consumed by the big daddies? And can you teach them contract negotiations, especially which are specific to certain countries and their basic laws? If you can do that, Sone pe suhaga hai, mewe pe mewa hai, I don't know, the proverb can build on itself. So, now to finally speak on women. And why would I want to speak on women after speaking on all of this finally? Because there was a Harvard Kennedy School study done which showed all over the world women invest 90% of their earnings in their families, communities, as compared to 30% spent by men. Women at work end up getting 10% more work than men. And because they get 10% more work and the burden of work is enhanced, then they want us to compete on productivity. But there was also a study on productivity. Wherever a company ensures equality in approach, in HR, productivity for the whole company goes up by 75%. So if not for equality, at least for productivity, be smart. So what is the position of women today? In India, I am told that the Council has very rightly said 80% of those in the workforce in the industry are women, but not in leadership roles or ownership roles. Today in India, we have 432 million women of the working age, out of which 343 million are in the unorganized sector. That's more than many countries put together. In the general elections, 968 million Indians had the right to vote. 642 million Indians turned up. out of which 312 million were women. They know how to vote, they definitely know how to do business. There are 127 million girls in school right now. So maybe a generation of Vijetas and Vishakhas and Jalelias and Smriti Iranis have to push the envelope so that those 127 million young girls who are yet to come, they can have a better shot at things. There are 20 million young women in higher education today. Today, global average in terms of CEO is around 5%. In India, we are at 8%. Oh, don't clap. Tell me when it's 50%. But these are not the numbers that make sense to people in business. So let me make sense to people in business. 300 million bank loans were given to women under Mudra. NPA of those businesses are between 1.5 to 1.9%. Non-performing assets of male-owned businesses is above 2.3%. Thank you very much. And banks now have discovered after Jan Dhan that the lifetime revenue that they earn from a female account is 12% higher than men. So India is one of those very rare countries which has made a financially evidenced body of work available for the globe to say, wake up, women make for great investments. So those men, and fortunately I'm on a height here, not in office, but on stage, and I can see one or two men snigger even now. I know exactly which row, and the auditorium and audience is very well lit. And those are the people who still don't understand that all you have to do is being kind, being equal, and giving opportunity. No woman here wants a handout. Anybody here who wants a handout? Any woman here who's an abla nari? Nope. So no woman wants a handout. She just wants you to stop sniggering. Yeah, the guy knows now, he's tightened up, he's not smiling anymore. Yeah. So stop sniggering, because whether you like it or not, the future will only be just if it has women as equal partners. Congratulations, Council. Look forward to your splendid work in the years to come.
So ladies and gentlemen, with that, we'd now like to invite the founding president of NDFCI, Gunjan Vijayan, for his remarks. Let's give him an iconic round of applause.
So, thank you so much, ma'am. It's been an inspiration. And some of the things you talked about, I mean, it's almost the preamble, the constitution of the council we made. Those are based on those things. So, like you talked about teaching the young, one of the challenges our industry was facing and is facing is that the young ones don't want to get in the industry. The young ones want to maybe go overseas. No, but it's also the fact that I think we've not glamorized our industry enough. There's still enough of opportunity here. We've not taught them contracts, as you rightly said. So one of the things we are working on is an academia program. We are working with IIM to create, for this industry, a program. And I mean, it will be happy for the audience also to know that we've started on that journey. The other thing is productivity, getting farmers in India. So we've started giving out plants, working with farmers to have. So last year, Modi ji's campaign of Make in India. So we are saying we are importing and we will be importing because India is a net consumer and we're going to get bigger. But we are trying to also grow in India now. How to do that? And this show, MEWA, that itself is an evidence of Modi ji's inspiration of Make in India. We did not have any nuts and dried fruit show in India. We all used to go to Gulf Food or other international forums. So for the first time when we created this show, we had foreign exchange coming in close to about, it's a very proud moment to say that this whole event has been with the help of our foreign sponsors. A lot of our exporters from overseas, they've helped us, they've been sponsors to this event. So all the foreign exchange has flown in. For the first time, all delegates are coming into India. So we've made a kind of small Make in India campaign with having a show in India where we used to spend dollars to go out there and meet our suppliers. Now we are lucky all our suppliers are coming here and doing that. So, I mean, we really thank you for your vision, and that's the direction we are trying to go. But it'll be great and it'll be very inspiring to have more of interaction with you and learn more and maybe get to do more and more. We are really inspired. And thank you, ma'am.
All right, with that, Ms. Bhatia, if you'd request you to please join us on the podium for your vote of thanks for our chief guest. Let's give her a warm round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Dinika Bhatia.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am, for your very, very powerful speech. And what I truly loved about that was 90% of that was numbers and business. When I founded my brand 15 years ago, I just went in as an entrepreneur who had a business idea and wanted to execute that. I was the first one to be on the forefront, and it was lovely to know, Vishaka ji, that your mother-in-law actually took care of production. So your grandmother. That's wonderful. And from a lot of our families, there would be a lot of women. Even my mother is in the back end, and she takes care of the factory. There's a lot of women who are there in the households who are taking care of the entire household. And as Janelia mentioned earlier, that task is tougher than actually going to the office. So for women who actually go to the office and manage their homes, a round of applause for them. And, you know, when you go in believing in yourself, knowing what you're doing, knowing your numbers, knowing the country, knowing the business, that's all that takes. And just speaking about another number, like we said, 4% of our industry is e-commerce. And every day in Q-commerce, in the 10 to 30-minute delivery slot, we are delivering 2.5 million orders a day, out of which less than 4% have dry fruits. Now imagine 1% of that going up. Imagine 2% of that going up. So, you know, just doubling that penetration can increase the scale of the industry. And as ma'am mentioned, that it is driven by 70% by rural, homegrown brands. And all of us here are building homegrown brands. We're all trying to enhance the farmers of India, the production units of India, the flavors of India, and take India to the world. So it truly is amazing to learn that your husband is also from a cashew farmer family. And all of us here are also working with farmers in India. That, you know, we work a lot with boards and bodies across the world. We're trying to promote the native nuts of America and Australia and consuming them. And of course, we all can grow together. We all can build that pie together. But we must not leave our farmers behind. Thank you, ma'am, for pointing that out to us. And we will truly, truly make India proud. Thank you for your speech.
A big thank you to Dinika Bhatia for joining us. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, let's give an iconic round of applause for all our dignitaries. And can we request Srimati Smriti Irani as well to please step forward. Let's get all of them on frame. And of course, a standing ovation welcomed by all our August gathering. Man, they stood on their own. We just wanted to acknowledge that for them. Let's give her a big and a mighty round of applause. Whilst she's with us on stage, may we request the mementos to be now presented. If I may request Mrs. Shubha Kamat Bola to please present a shawl to ma'am. Let's give Shubha a warm round of applause. To our chief guest. Come on, Mumbai, make some noise as we have Srimati Smriti Irani amongst us. And for the memento, if we may request Gunjan V. Jain, founding president. All right. We'll let the ladies do it, of course. Vishakha, if you can do us the honors, let's give her a warm, warm round of applause. Vishakha Kumaria Jain, President of Exports and Imports, International Relations, VKC Nuts in frame, with Srimati Smriti Irani. With that, a big thank you to our chief guest for joining us. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we conclude with this conference of day one of MEWA India 2025. A lot is in store for you, but let's give her a gracious exit with a warmer round of applause. What an invaluable address by our chief guest, Srimati Smriti Irani, who of course, through her words, spoke about her vision ahead, what she would like to focus, what she'd like to portray, and of course, a lot to take back from her session, some great remarks coming in from her, and we truly, on behalf of NDFCI, value the presence of Srimati Smriti Irani. Ladies and gentlemen, with this we conclude with the day one of MEWA 2025, but let me tell you, we have an exciting evening in store for you, so do not go anywhere, as we are all set for the next segment on the other side. But for the time being, let's give a gracious exit to Srimati Smriti Irani and allow you a moment to network with her. But remember to please maintain the distance and maintain her space and privacy. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Please, one final request from the media team and all our delegates to maintain the distance and maintain her privacy as well, as Srimati Smriti Irani makes the humble exit. Once again, to all our delegates and our attendees to please maintain the distance and her privacy as Srimati Smriti Irani makes the humble exit on the day one of MEWA India 2025. Please allow her an opportunity to make that gracious exit, and we'd request our team at NDFCI to please escort her for the next proceedings ahead. She's been very kind with her time throughout today, and we like to thank her on behalf of NDFCI for giving her gracious remarks and lending her support to the cause. Once again, requesting all of our media to please maintain her privacy and space as she makes the gracious exit. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, on the other side, remember we have the exciting evening, the dazzling Bollywood night sponsored by Pearl Crop. So do not go anywhere as the expo is still on, and we look forward to your support. And for the time being, this is me, Bhavna Bhatia, signing off for day one. We'll see you for the Bollywood night sponsored by Pearl Crop. This is all happening right here in Geo World Convention Center, courtesy NDFCI at MEWA India 2025.